Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. And in today's video we have another new eyeshadow palette ranking. So I've gathered 10 palettes that I've recently reviewed. Well, some of them are also from like December and January and stuff like that. And I don't have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I already have like 6 or 7 other palettes that I've been reviewing after these, so I kind of forgot that I'm actually doing these rankings now. But yeah, I have 10 palettes that I've used since the last ranking and reviewed since the last ranking, and I'm gonna rank them from worst to best and tell you a little bit about what I think about them, what I enjoy about them, what I might not enjoy about them, if I'm gonna keep them or if I'm gonna get rid of them, and stuff like that. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. I don't know if in the last ranking I had the Sinister palette by Cosmic Beauty. I have a feeling like I did, but also I haven't found it in the thumbnail for that video, and I don't actually want to go and watch the video because it's weird watching yourself. So in case I haven't mentioned the Sinister palette from Cosmic Beauty in the previous ranking, I no longer have that one. Because I just, I felt like if I wanna, what I liked about that palette, which was the purples, I have in other palettes, and then there were a lot of shades that I generally just don't gravitate towards. And if I really want to gravitate towards something like that, I can use my collection for that. Like, yes, I don't have a palette for that, but I can definitely find these shades in a couple of my palettes and like create a look from that. And I have absolutely no problem using like 4 palettes to create a look if I just want to find a similar color story. So yeah, you know, it felt like a good thing. Okay, it felt like a nice idea, so that's what we're doing. Anyways, so yeah, I don't have that one. And then from the other 10 palettes that I've been reviewing kind of around that time and after, well, after that time for sure, the worst one in this bunch, and that doesn't mean it's a bad palette, it just means that all of the other ones I just like more, but I still do enjoy this one, is the Nomad Polar Express palette. This is gorgeous. It's inspired by the movie Polar Express. It's like very, I think it's a perfect winter palette, but it's been pretty warm outside and like sunny, so I'm kind of not in the in the winter mood. But this is how this palette looks like. It's a 15 pan. It's gorgeous, but it has half of it is neutral, which I don't know if I'm ever gonna really touch the neutrals apart from like brow shade and maybe one of them to just like, I don't know. And then it has like also red in that like neutral part, which again I don't use these shades. So if this is ever gonna get rolled into like my, I don't know, Project 20 uses or something, I'm just gonna use that as like a brow palette essentially. But I do like the blues. I think the blues are wonderful. Like I think this is the best blues they've ever done, honestly. Like I'm really surprised by these. The quality, both the mattes and the shimmers, like the shimmers are so much sparklier than they usually do. And the fact that it's blue is even like more surprising, and the mattes are wonderful, especially the white. Like it's been a while since I've seen this powerful white. I think only where do I have like a really good white? It's definitely in the Cosmic Beauty Delicious Delights and the Spooked palette by Gourmand Girls. Do I have any other good white? I think also in the Water palette by Little, the Avatar The Last Airbender palette. I feel like that one also has blue, white. I always keep like switching blue and white in my head for some reason. But yeah, I think that one has white as well. And this is just as great as the previous brands. And they're like really known for their good formulas. So I think Nomad really stepped it up when it comes to their blue shades in this palette. Like genuinely way better than most of their other palettes, period. But since I'm gonna only really like focus on like, I don't know, 7 shades of this palette and then use maybe 2 of them for my brows. I don't like a lot of shimmers in this one. Like all the neutral shimmers, I don't really... They're just nothing special. I just don't like neutral shimmers. That's something I'm realizing about myself. But if I'm gonna mix them with something like yellow, orange, green, like something different, I'm okay with that. I just don't like mixing brown and blue. So I think for me, it's also the reason why it's number 10 is not just because half of the palette is just something that I'm not really gonna reach for all that much, but it's also because I don't like a color story like this, like the combination of it. I enjoy the blues and I can work with the browns, mixing it with like yellows, oranges, greens, but just not this way. So for me, as a whole palette, functioning as a palette, it's not gonna fly, but I still don't want to get rid of it because I still really enjoy this and I love the colors. I love the packaging, and I really like the blues. I want to have a nice blue color story from Nomad. Okay, so until they're gonna come up with like a really good blue palette, I'm not gonna get rid of this one. Then another palette, and I was kind of wondering if I'm not gonna put this at number 10 because lately I just haven't really been into these shades. I think I just need winter again to be into this, which is just kind of, you know. But also for me it's pretty dark, and the light shades in this are either neutral or just they don't like really work for my skin tone. So I would need something more poppy and something more, I guess, pastel-y. Like I don't mind really dark mattes, I actually do really prefer them, but I just need something really light pastel-y in the inner little part, like this part, literally the part that is now covered by my finger, like that part. I just need something lighter, otherwise my eyes just look kind of weird, I guess. And that's the Spellcraft by Little. This is my first like full-sized palette from them, if I don't count the Avatar The Last Airbender collection. But obviously, like for collabs, it's just something different. Like usually the brands have better formulas and they just like really go all out for these things. But this one, I do really like the idea, the fact that it's a spell book. It's gorgeous, like the whole thing, genius. My clasp is already almost broken out, like the faux leather is kind of breaking apart over here around the clasp, and I haven't really opened it that many times because I don't think I've used this palette more than like 7 times, and then maybe I've opened a couple times for these videos and for like swatching, but yeah, I don't think it's been opened more than like 17 times maybe, so it shouldn't really be that hard. But this one, I do love the shimmers. The shimmers, the quality of them, I mean, it's Little, so obviously it's great quality, but the shimmers are wonderful. The matte, a lot of them are really berry red, and I don't really enjoy that too much, especially when they're mixed with like either neutrals or grays. It's not something I usually do. I do sometimes enjoy that, especially in winter and also like in during Halloween, but it's not my go-to. So for me, this is a palette that, like, I know that when Halloween comes and winter comes, I'm gonna really enjoy this and I'm gonna wear this a lot. Or if I just want something moody, I know that this is the one that's gonna like kind of hold me and allow me to do that. But regularly, for my everyday, this is, I would have to mix it with like pastel pink, pastel blue, pastel yellow, also really pretty, kind of like the look that I have today. Even pastel green would look really nice. Yeah, I would need that probably, or a matte white with these berries. Oh, love that combination. Yeah, because these two light shades, and it's I usually don't go towards that when it comes to these really dark shades. I wouldn't mind using these two with something else, but not with these dark shades. I do really enjoy the fact that it has like a really pigmented dark shades though, so if you want to do eyeliner or anything dark, you can do that very easily. I love the pen size that it's not too big because like I have so many eyeshadows, so like I just enjoy when it's smaller pens, so that I can actually like feel satisfaction if I actually hit a pen. And also usually the cost of the pad isn't that much if the pen size is slightly smaller, at least like a little bit. Like if I can save up a couple dollars, I'm very happy. Then another palette is kind of similar story. I just feel like this one has a couple of the lighter shades. But I'm still not gonna be really using it too much in the next couple of months. Well, I mean, I should, because it's my project 20 uses, but I think this one's gonna be the hardest one for me because I'm just not really in the mood right now, and I'm gonna have to use it with pastels to put myself into a mood where I can enjoy this. It's not that it's a bad palette, I actually really enjoy it, but I just feel like, first of all, other palettes from this brand are, in my opinion, better. Maybe I'm gonna feel differently in like a couple of months. And like in the next like 6 months, maybe I'm gonna change my mind. But right now, I just feel like this one is the most complicated for me to use. And yeah, I also feel like some of these mattes, like I think the brand can do better. Not that they're bad, I just feel like other palettes, maybe they're just like really good. And this one is just normal. Who knows? But it's the Bitten palette by Gourmand Girls. I love the theming and I love like kind of what it is. I think that's super fun, and I love vampires, so like obviously I needed that one. But it has a lot of berry red shades, which again I don't wear that too much, but also I don't have that many palettes. I have this, I have the Spellcraft, I have what, maybe 2 more palettes like that. So I don't really have too much, just enough to rotate during Halloween and stuff. But I don't think I would like purchase another palette similar to this, unless I would actually get rid of some of these. So yeah, but this one, I like that you have the 2 light shades. The purpley one is still kind of dark for me. Like it's not dark, like it's very very gray, so it doesn't really work for me in this part because it kind of makes my eye a bit too hollow and my nose too like protruding out, and it just, I don't know, like I don't really have problem with any color on my face or anything like that, but there are certain undertones with certain combinations that just feel like my entire face looks completely differently, and it's just really alien like, which is really weird because I wear like flowers on my face all the time and like stars and hearts and stuff, and that doesn't feel weird to me. But I don't know, like there's, it's just contouring, right? And I don't like the way my face looks when there's contour or anything like that. It just kind of messes up with my brain. So yeah, but I really like the shimmers, especially these 2 shades. Like they're pretty chilly, but actually they stay on, and I haven't had problem with creasing. And they're pretty special. Like I don't think they've had a shade like this. It's kind of like one of those marbled multi-chromes. Very pretty. Well, not marble, but it's just when it flips, it doesn't flip fully like the entire pan, but just like specks here and there. It's just interesting. I would not need to have this shade. I kind of don't like it. And I do enjoy this shade, but I'm not gonna really, like, it's not gonna be the center stage of my looks. And I feel like these 2, even though one of them is green and one of them is berry, like they're kind of too similar in depth and also the grayness to them, so they kind of look very similar. Yeah, and also this blue and the purple, like they are so similar on the eye. So for me, this part either could have been 2 shades smaller, or just maybe make it a little bit more. Like I honestly, based on the packaging, I would love to have a matte white as well, not just the shimmer but also matte white. I feel like that would just really make this palette so wonderful. And I usually don't need like matte white. I know some people just genuinely can't have a palette without that, but I personally, I just find that like fun to have once in a while. I feel like this palette would be better with it, or maybe like a light pink. Then number 7, right? 10, 9, 8, 7, yes. Number 7 is gonna be this Beauty Moon Cosmetics Ice Maiden palette. It's actually a really wonderful palette. For me, and also it has some of my favorite shades. It's just, for me, I don't find reaching for it too much. I don't know why. I don't reach for it all that much. I did try to reach for it quite a bit in my like during winter, and now I'm gonna really try to focus on it for my Project 20 uses. I don't know if I'm not gonna use it mostly as a highlighter palette, which is gonna be really shitty because it only has two shades I can use as a highlight. But also it has black, so I can use that as an eyeliner. And like I love this holochrome, this like silvery holochrome, but I always forget that it's here. I'm gonna have to focus on this palette more. I think I'm gonna try to use her more with one of the palettes that I'm actually wearing today, which is the Beauty Below by Blend Bunny, because I still would like to use this palette like 5 more times before I'm gonna film my March haul in the second half of April. And a lot of these shades I could use, like especially the matte, I could use to kind of brighten it up a bit. So yeah, maybe that, and maybe I could also put this holochrome into work, and maybe even this purple. Yeah, I could. I really want to try to use her more, but I just wasn't as inspired to use it lately. And I think part of it is also because like it's very light, and then it has only that like really dark shade, and you don't really have anything in between. Only the shade Fiction, which is actually a really interesting shade, but it's kind of hard penny, and it doesn't have too much pigment. So that's like if it had a full-on pigment like the other shades, I would be very happy. Also, these three blues, even though in the pan they look very different, on the eyes they're not that far from each other. I would have to use white base, which I don't have. And I have like white pencils, but it's messy to use, and I always have like skipping, and it's kind of hard. Maybe I just need better quality white eye pencils. Who knows? Then number 6. Number 6 is the Nomad Chicago Speakeasy, which I feel horrible at putting it here because I love this one. There's something, first of all, the packaging, the theming, the overall aesthetic of this makes me so happy. And every single time I look at this bud, I'm just so happy. Do I reach for it as often? No. The only reason why I've been reaching for it lately has been because it's my Project 20 uses. I don't know why all of these are in my Project 20 uses. I really don't know what happened there. Because it was randomly generated, so like it shouldn't have. But yeah, this one is so pretty. It makes me so happy to look at it. But lately I've been only pretty much using it as a brow shade, and then also these two, and then this one as a highlighter for my face because I can use these as a highlighter. But I wanna reach for this palette as a palette sometime soon because I just really enjoy this. And I just love the warm browns with the greens with the cool toned grays. Like there's something so interesting to me about this color story. Yeah, it really speaks to me. Also, I really like the shimmer quality. This shimmer quality is not as um not as full pigmented as other Nomad palettes, but it has that like really nice kind of fairy-like sheen. It's not too sparkly and it's not too shifty, but it has like a really nice sheen to it, and it just looks very magical with these shades. Like I feel like that's what I really applaud Nomad in this palette, is that I feel like they realized that their shimmers are not the most sparkly, intense shimmers, but they made them so that it works with the color story and with the formulas of their mattes, and it still creates something really beautiful, even though it's not the most wet looking sparkly shade. It still looks really fun, even for me, and also I feel like even people who aren't really into shimmers could find this really beautiful and just kind of ethereal. So I just really applaud them for this one. I feel like they did something incredible here. And maybe it's also the fact that I like jazz, and I love this whole thing. But for my preferences and what I know I'm gonna actually like get the most uses out of, this is not gonna be the palette that I'm gonna be reaching for every single day or every single week unless it's in a project, but I still would not want to get rid of it. I think if I would have to get rid of any of these, I would have to decide between the Bidden and Spellcraft because these are the ones that I'm probably gonna be least inclined to use majority of the year. That's also the factor. Like I might use them a lot at the specific times of the year or when a specific mood hits me, but not as a full year-long kind of thing. Then number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5 is the Undens Eye Salmona 2 Moonwish palette. I don't know what I should think about this because I love the previous Salmona palette and I enjoy the packaging and the color story more than the previous one, but the quality, I think the mattes aren't as good. They're okay, but like there was something so creamy and punchy about the previous Salmona, which this one doesn't have. You have to kind of work with it a little bit, but it's beautiful. Like once you build it up, it's gorgeous. But I feel like I have to work a little bit harder on the mattes than I do with the Salmona, and I actually was able to compare it lately because I've been focusing a lot on the previous Salmona to pan it. So like I can notice the difference. But the shimmers are definitely better because they're very sparkly, they're very wet looking. Some of these are quite jelly, like especially the shade Pluto. It's a really weird texture. I know they had this in the Legendary Diversa palettes as well. It was in the Mighty Monster with Annette. I don't know if I've had it with anything else because I don't think I've had, yeah, I haven't bought any other palette from them. Like my latest from them is the Halloween bundle, then the Mighty Monster, and then this. And I think only Mighty Monster and this has that formula, and it's just kind of weird. It doesn't crease all that much. It slightly moves, but you can very easily put it back in place. But it's just quite heavy shimmer that is a bit sticky, and you can kind of feel it on your lid, which I don't really enjoy. But I do like the formulas of these. I just feel like the blue tone shades are kind of all the same when it comes to shimmers, like the Universe, Neptune, and this Moonlight. Honestly, like, yes, they do shift slightly differently, but I don't know if they really needed to be there. Also, the shade Mercury and Pluto, they're not that far from each other. Like, yes, if you swatch them, it's slightly different, but on the eyes, I don't really feel like they kind of all of the shimmers in the second and third row look kind of the same. I would like to have a little bit more difference because the mattes kind of have a difference. Like you have lavenders, kind of pinks, peaches, yellows, neutrals, cool tones. You have the blue. So like you have quite diverse matte color story, even though it's mostly just like yellow and blue or yellow and purple, whichever way you want to look at it. But the shimmers kind of all feel the same. So great formula. I just feel like the Salmona, like the previous one, gives you more, and a lot of the looks with this you can also do with the previous Salmona. So I just kind of, it feels like they made the color story smaller, less versatile, and yes, with sparklier shimmers, but also you kind of get the same thing in different textures essentially. So I don't know if it's an improvement or an addition because I kind of feel like you could do the same thing with the previous Salmona. So well, okay, not everything. You don't have the neutrals and you don't have a couple of the shades, but kinda you could. The number 4 is this lens palette by Blend Bunny Cosmetics. This was the collaboration between Blend Bunny, Glisten, and Lens makeup looks. And this is the palette. I do really enjoy the palette. It is not a palette that I can use on its own mostly. Because it only has 2 shimmers, the rest are matte, and they're all kind of like really colorful, though they do make sense together, and I love a lot of the color stories. My favorite quote is this quote here, like the yellow, white, green, teal. That is incredible combination. And even though there's only 2 shimmers, they are worth every penny, especially the shade Slight. I'm sorry, but that shade, I want to write songs about this one. It is so incredibly gorgeous. And then bunch of these, like I really like the colors in this palette and the quality of them. It's truly wonderful. And I definitely like that Linds picked the strengths that Blend Bunny has, which is definitely the matte, and just kind of really focused on making a color story that they haven't really done before, and that is also, I feel like, very uniquely Lin's. And it's a color story that I do really enjoy, and I have pretty much, like, I think I said that in my review video. If I wanted to, I could use this palette every single day for the entire year, and I wouldn't feel like I'm missing anything. Obviously, this would be just like a companion palette, but I kind of have, for any kind of look that I want to do on any day, at least one of these shades will fit. And most palettes can't say that. So yes, it's kind of jumbled up color story, and I understand that for a lot of people this can be really messy, but for me, if I chose this to be my Panda palette for next year, that will be so easy because I would actually use it every single day. And I could even use it like for the whole look if I really wanted to, but even just one of the shades would be so easy. And I can't say that about many palettes in my collection. So this one technically would be a really nice contender, though I'm not gonna do that because it's a new palette. But if I want it, so easy. And also this palette, what I really like about it, it has a magnetic bands. I asked you in the Beauty Below review if you would like me to kind of mix these two color stories to create my own perfect Beauty Below, because it's a bit too dark for me, this one. So I feel like if I combine them, I could create a really nice color story. So let me know if you would want that, because I don't think anyone commented underneath the Beauty Below video. And if it was just like nice looks or something. So, oh my god, the sun is setting. I'm gonna have to turn on the lights. But if you would want me to film a video like that, please let me know. I would really enjoy that. But I obviously, like, maybe I'm gonna do that anyways in the future, but I would really want to know if you want me to do it, and if I should film it, or if I'm just gonna do it on my own and then maybe share a picture on Instagram. So please, please. Okay, so I hope the lighting is better. Another palette is actually also from Blend Bunny. Like, November was the first month, I think it was November, was the first month I tried Blend Bunny, and I already have 3 palettes from them. So, and I haven't bought them together also, so, but it's also because they started doing palettes differently than they did before. First up, and my introduction to Blend Bunny was this Divination palette, which was the collab between Blend Bunny and Robert Welsh. And it's this beautiful, how many shades is it? 36? 2, 4, 5. So it's 35? 3, 6. No, it's 30. Yes. Okay, I can't even count. So it's this gorgeous but very, very big 30 pan. It's still in their like regular layout that I don't enjoy because I just don't like a palette to tell me what I'm supposed to do with it. But it's gorgeous shades. This also, if I wanted to, I could definitely have this as my palette, and it would be very easy because like I technically could pretty much use this every single day for the whole look, and I would be very happy. Maybe I would add like a really fun multi-chrome shimmer from my singles collection, but that would be it. Like, I would be so happy with this one. It's really, really stunning, gorgeous. Mattes are perfect. Shimmers are kind of new, kind of basic shimmers, but they're really pretty. And if I'm just gonna use like a pop in the center of the lid with something either like really multi-chromy, really sparkly, really holochrome, really wet looking, it's gonna be the most beautiful look. But you kind of have anything you could possibly ask for, at least for me. I have my yellows, my greens, my blues, but my pinky purples. There's no reds, which is wonderful. The only thing, like, I might want like one orange, because you only have this kind of warm dandelion-y yellow. But honestly, for me, and that might be me and my lack of love for neutrals, but these 3 neutral mattes kind of look the same to me, especially the darker two. One of them could have been orange. Like, I feel like you could have taken out this one, put this instead, and then on this space you could have put like a peachy orange, like a light peachy orange, and that would make it a wonderful neutral E, but my neutral E row. And if this palette was magnetic, I am definitely, because one of the lens shades is kind of what I'm thinking about. So if this was magnetic, I'm definitely swapping these two. But unfortunately, this one isn't magnetic. It would be insanely heavy if it was. Yeah, it's a gorgeous palette. It's just way too big for me. It's way too big, okay? But I do definitely want to put it in some kind of project where I'm gonna use it. Like, I've been kind of playing with the idea of creating a project where you have to use one palette for the entire month. You can use other palettes with it, but you have to use that palette for a full month, every single day, at least one of the shade. On your eyes, that would also be a rule. I don't know if a project like that exists, so if it does, please let me know how it's called, and maybe I'm gonna start filming that project, and like, it would be nice to know who created it. Because I don't think I've ever seen someone doing that, but maybe it, like, I don't really think I'm that original to come up with a completely, like, never heard of project. But that's something I've been toying with, and I could use these like larger or more colorful palettes for that. So let me know first of all if you know about a project like this, and also would you be interested in that? Because I've had this for I've had this in my mind for like 3 months now, and I'm really interested to see where that would go. So yeah, just let me know, please. And then, so that was number 3. Now number 2. The first two spots were so hard, but well, I knew what I'm gonna put at number 1, but number 2 is also so great. And if this was any other collection of 10 palettes, this one would win. But I have the Tis the Season by Cosmic Beauty. This palette, in my opinion, is the best palette they ever created. Maybe it's on the same spot as the Delicious Dust, because I really love that one. Like, really love that one. But also that one is, well, it has a couple darker shades, and you can do a lot with that one. I'm not sure. But these two are kind of my, like, top from Cosmic Beauty. This one is so gorgeous. You have the purples, you have the berries, you have the neutrals, oranges, greens. You have so much. And this last 2 rows kind of made me get rid of the Sinister palette, because the Sinister palette had purples and it had red shades, but for me, if I'm gonna use red, I want berry, not like blood red, I want berry. And the purples, they're slightly more vibrant than in the Sinister, but I prefer this. I did like the one in Sinister as well, but these are more up my alley. And then the gray shades that were really pretty in that Sinister palette, like, I have them in the Divination palette, so I just felt like I really do not need the Sinister. And if I'm gonna want like something similar to that, I can just use this one. And also have the beautiful greens and the neutrals, and just like this color story makes so much more sense to me. And also I love the different tones in here. Like, there's so many beautiful quads, 6 pans, 9 pans that you can do with this. First of all, the layout is genius. Like, you can't go wrong. Whatever row, column, 4 pan, 6 pan, 8 pan, whatever you'll pick, it's gonna be wonderful. I can't see a color story, like a mini color story in this that would not work. Literally all of them are so beautiful, and no matter which way you're gonna like rotate it, like, it's still wonderful. So, and that's what I really like about palettes, if they give me like exponentially more options than just the shades that are there. And again, it's not like every palette can do that. There are some palettes that have like 15 shades, but realistically I can do 3 looks and then I'm kind of stuck on like, what else? Like, how am I gonna spin this to make it like more interesting? Because it's always gonna look somewhat of the same. But this one, so many different options, and they all work nicely together. So yeah, I'm just rambling, but this one, I just like when people can do a really good palette, okay? Because I can't do that. Like, I could never come up with this. So the fact that somebody did and made me this happy is just like, good job. And then number one, again, there's something about this color story that I just it scratches an itch that I didn't know I have. But it is just so beautiful, and honestly also like it is so much better in real life than any picture I've ever seen. And I loved the pictures that I've seen, but in real life it genuinely, like, I was so surprised and so happy, and I still am every single time I open it. I'm just like, wow, did not expect that. Like, it, yeah. And it's the Galactic Visitor. First of all, I love everything space themed. This is just so fun. And the color story of this, I love yellows and blues and oranges and teals and all that kind of stuff. And this has that and much more. It is so pretty. The shimmers are genuinely so gorgeous. So gorgeous. And also, I love the fact that these two lighter shades, the Beam and Encounter, they are kind of like, they remind me of the ColourPop Super Shock eyeshadows, but like on steroids. You know, like, this is what Super Shocks from ColourPop want to be, but they can never reach that. Because they are kind of jelly and they have that kind of texture, but on the eyes, it is incomparable. These are just like a million times better. Like, yeah, like this is Jupiter and then ColourPop is like Pluto or something. Like, it's just miles apart. And yeah, the yellow here with the oh, this really scratches an itch. And I love Angie, but like literally anybody that would create this, I would just praise them to gods and beyond, because I had so much fun reviewing this, and I still have so much fun every single time I use it. And again, it's one of those buds that, like, if you would tell me that I have to use this for the entire year, I would not hesitate. Like, I would not hesitate. Yeah, sometimes maybe I would want like warm tone green or like a purple, but I can go so long with just this. And also, like, I've been really enjoying mixing cool tones with yellows, which I've always enjoyed, but lately I've been kind of focusing on that, and like every other look of mine is like that, because I just love the way my eyes look, like the eye color. It just, yeah, it's pretty. I like it. What more can I tell you? So that's the Galactic Visitor. It's the winner of this bunch, and rightfully so. Like, there aren't that many palettes who would deserve this more than this one. It's gonna be so hard to rank all of these palettes at the end of the year. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Like, there's so many really good ones. I feel like last year it was a lot easier to like stay in some kind of normal amount of eyeshadow palettes in total, because once in a while I would find like dots, but lately it's brands are too good. They're too good, and I don't want them to be. Like, obviously, since I paid for it, I want them to be, but also just like, where am I ever gonna use this up? Like, I need, I don't know, 11 more eyes to actually use this. But that's it for this video. Let me know which palette was your favorite. Let me know if you have any of these, and try to think about the last 10 palettes that you bought. And please, if you have time, write down the ranking for your palettes, because I just enjoy hearing other people's opinions, and also like knowing what other people have in their collection, because I'm just always so happy and jealous of other people's collections. There's always something that I'm just like, oh, I wish I had that. But then I realized that I kind of have something similar, and also I don't have that much space to have millions of palettes. Like, it's already getting a bit too out of hand, and we're at like what, 60, 70, no, like 65 palettes maybe. I really need to use up some of my older palettes to, like, you know, have a little bit of a nicer number. But when am I gonna do that? I don't know. Anyways, let me know down below your thoughts and opinions, and like I would really appreciate a comment, because that really helps my videos to reach a wider audience. And since we're kind of getting closer to 1K, closer, like we're still in like 800s, but it's not that far off. So if you're new here and you could subscribe, that would be very, very nice of you. And I would really appreciate that. But have a wonderful day, and I'll be super happy to see you with another video. Bye!